Welcome back to my channel and to another challenge, probably the last challenge with my CKM. If you watched my video from yesterday, you know that I attempted to do a fat fast experiment and it turned out to be a fat fast fail. And so I have been thinking through what I wanted to do with these last 3 days. I only have 3 days left on my continuous ketone monitor. And what I really want to focus on is what I can do, like seeing what my ketones do with a strategy that keeps me as well nourished as possible and keeps my protein, and included in being well nourished is keeping my protein a little bit on the higher end. So for me, I try really hard not to go under 100 grams of protein per day, like long term, a day here and there where I'm doing a challenge or something and it goes a little bit lower than that, I'm not concerned about. But on average, most of the time, I want my protein grams to land somewhere between 100 and 150. That's where I feel my best, satiated. I don't worry about, losing muscle so much. And for my body, that's just the range that I feel like I want to be in most of the time. So, but when I do that, when I'm eating that 100 to 150 grams of protein with my normal diet, I don't see ketones. And I have experienced what it's like at these lower ketone levels. And then I've experienced what it's like to have a little bit higher ketone levels. And I like the enhancements in my brain when I have a little bit higher ketone levels. So I'm trying to figure out how I can get the best of both worlds, how I can get all the benefits from the protein, but then also get the benefits of the ketones. And that is very tricky because they kind of can work against each other a little bit. So what I'm going to do in this challenge is try to hit as close to 80-20 on my macros as possible. That's 80% of calories coming from fat, 20% of calories coming from protein. And there will be a few carbs in there from certain products and things, but I'm going to try to just hit that 80% fat, but also make sure I get 100 grams of protein. So this is not going to be a low calorie few days to get 100 grams of protein and then also to get 80% fat in there. That's going to take a pretty decent amount of calories. I haven't done all the calculations yet, so I'm kind of curious to see how the calories turn out. I'm also really interested to see if it causes me to gain weight, adding that much fat on top of that much protein. And then of course, I'm really curious to see if my ketones will go up from it or if that 100 grams is still too much to see much of a rise. I've heard some people talk about trying to find your personal protein threshold as it relates to ketones. Vanessa Spina, ketogenic girl, she kind of went through this a while back where she also really values protein and was really, excited about high protein for a long time. But then she also sees the value in having the ketones and the brain enhancement from that. And so she kind of worked through finding her own personal protein threshold, like the level of protein as high as it could get without bumping the ketones down too much. So I'm kind of trying to find that for myself. I don't know if I'll be able to do that in these last 3 days, but I'm going to see. I know that with the egg fast, I was around between 70 and 80 grams of protein per day. And I saw a really great rise in ketones. So I know that, if I need to, I can, for a couple of days, just for a short amount of time, go back down to that level of protein and I can see my ketones go up. But I am really curious to also see if I keep my protein at that 100, if I can still get some ketones even with that amount of protein. So another strategy that I have heard, and Kelly Hogan has talked about this, and I'm sure others as well, but she talked about when she started doing her higher fat, little bit lower protein experiment, she talked about doing more meals in a day. There's a huge focus on doing, OMAD or 2MAD, 2 meals a day, 1 meal a day, and intermittent fasting. But with the goal to get ketones and stay well nourished, of course you can fast and, depending on your body chemistry, you'll eventually get into fat burning mode and, producing ketones. But if you want to try to get into ketosis while still staying nourished and having a good amount of protein, a good strategy is to have more meals in a day. And so less protein per meal. So instead of eating one big meal with 100 grams of protein in it, eating 4 smaller meals with 25 grams of protein. And that can help your body like get through the protein and then get back to ketone making. I don't know all the details of how it all works in the body, but I just know that it seems like a good strategy to kind of spread out your protein throughout the day if the goal is getting in those deeper states of ketosis. So what I am going to try to do today is 4 meals, and I don't count my coffee in the morning as a meal. I did have coffee already this morning, and I was out of my MCT oil powder. I used that up yesterday, so I used 1 tablespoon of heavy cream and 1 tablespoon of butter in my coffee. So starting my morning off with a load of fat, hopefully priming the ketone pump or whatever. And then from here on out, I'm going to try to do 4 meals and do about 25 grams of protein in each meal, and then enough fat to get up to that 80%. So I'm just going to take you along on this 3-day experiment. I think this one is going to be probably the most pleasant of all of the challenges I've done so far, because it's not like a mono food challenge. I can eat, whatever I want as long as I mess with my macros and get them to the right range. And eating 4 times a day. I mean, I feel like I'm going to have trouble eating that much, but we will see. For breakfast, I am going to make a keto chow, and it actually works out great with keto chow for this whole challenge that I'm doing, because each serving of keto chow has around 26 grams of protein. I'm trying to get 25 per meal, so keto chow works out great. And this is one of their new formulations that has lower total carbs. So there's only 3 total carbs in here, and I figured out that 1 serving of this plus 64 grams of butter, which is just barely over 2 ounces, works out to be almost exactly 80% fat. So that makes it so easy. Beautiful purple breakfast. Got a delivery. Amazon overnight delivery is pretty fantastic. There it is. I just realized I was out of this last night. I pulled up Amazon, placed an order, and there it is, like 10 a.m. We got my MCT oil powder. Isn't that wonderful? You think that's for you? You think it's for you? Okay, so we just got another package delivered, and I wanted to show you what's in here. I purchased all of this stuff. None of this was sent to me for free, but I saw that there was some new products and decided we just had to try them. All right, this is not new. So this is from Pork King Good. You guys know I love their products. Hey, I told you it's not for you. You think it's for you? Yeah. So I love their ranch pork rinds. So I got, I think, 8 of those. Oh, I also got a couple canisters of the pork rind crumbs. Come on, focus. Those, wait, don't show yet. So I got 2, I think I got 2 of the ranch ones. Hold on a second. 2 of the ranch ones. All right, now the new products. You ready for this? Yes. Old-timey butterscotch dessert pork rinds. All right, so there's old-timey butterscotch. I want to eat that one. Hold on. There's appley cinnamon. Appley cinnamon. There's birthday cake. Oh, and there's cinnamon churro. Cinnamon churro. Okay, so when I first saw these, I was like, oh my goodness, what are they sweetened with? And there is turbinado sugar in there. And I was like, dang it, shoot. But then if you go up here and look, there's only 1 gram of carbs per serving. So it still falls into keto territory because of the very low carb count. So for me, I'm not worried that the ingredient is turbinado sugar because it is such a small amount. But if you are one that just keeps added sugar 100% out, then these would definitely not be for you. I get comments sometimes asking why, I think it's funny, just saying things like, why don't you exercise? And I'm like, wait, who said I didn't exercise? I don't think I ever said that. Sometimes people assume that the 15 minutes of someone's day they see on a video is like their entire 24 hours, which is not really the case. So anyways, I figured I better get better at showing when I do exercise. I'm out of breath right now because I just cleared a whole bunch of brush with the hedge trimmer. We have a field for our goats, our little goats, to be in, and they've pretty much eaten it clean. And so there's not a lot of food there. So basically what we've been doing, we can either like take them out and tie them out onto, you know, chains or cables so they can eat brush somewhere else on the property. Or what actually works out a little better for us is to cut down a whole bunch of brush and then take it in a wagon up into their little pen so they can still go out into their field, but then they can also have a wagon full of fresh variety of weeds that they enjoy. So anyways, I just cleared a whole bunch of brush, blackberries, and all kinds of things. I'm breathing heavy. I have sweat dripping down my back. My arms, like I'm holding up my phone right now to do this video and it's like shaking because my arms got an arm workout. So it's true that I don't do a lot of traditional, like go to the gym type exercise. I would like to get more consistent with something because the farm work is kind of sporadic and it's not easy to track, but I do definitely exercise. I've also been doing things like when I go to close up the chicken doors at night, I just jog up the hill instead of walk up the hill, and just like how fast can I do it, kind of like a HIIT training type thing. So I try to work exercise into my regular life. I also try to fit it in, you know, as a separate thing, like Lindsay and I have talked about on our coffee chats before. It's just a lot more difficult to do that. And so I find it's a little easier for me to just try to find things that need to be done that also are exercise. So that was my exercise for the day. It is about 12:30 and time for meal number 2. And this tiny little plate makes me sad, but I think it will still be filling because there's lots of fat. I just have to get used to it. Something you got to get used to. I have 2.75 ounces of leftover ribeye steak. I calculated all of this out so that I could make sure that I got the macros right. I have 15 grams of blue cheese, and then I have almost 2 tablespoons of mayo that I made, not mayo, ranch dressing that I made with butter mayo and sour cream and some Pork King Good ranch seasoning. I also calculated into this meal the fat for another cup of coffee. I'm going to do a cup of coffee with 12 grams of MCT oil powder that I usually do and really like. But on top of that, I'm going to add a tablespoon of butter, which is also very good. So all of that calculated together comes out to be, I think, 81% fat. So I'm winning. Here is my butter coffee, and with the MCT oil and the butter, very, very delicious. It is time for meal number 3 for the day. I am feeling pretty hungry. It's like a little after 4 p.m. and I remembered that I had prepped some yolk waffles a while back, and I kind of just forgot they were in the freezer. And so I'm going to pull some of those out and make a little breakfast sandwich. I remember when Amy, the Angel's Journey, she was doing high fat and she was sharing some what I eat in a day videos. She would really rely on the yolk waffles because they're super high fat, and then you can always like spread butter on top as well. So I am going to try that. I'm going to make I'm finding it takes a lot of finagling with the Carb Manager app, like putting in the foods and trying to like get it to exactly balance, being, 25 grams of protein and then also 80% fat. It's like you have to just play with it until you get it, which is a lot of work, but I imagine that it's something you can get used to if, you do this regularly. Like I just get kind of used to certain meals that I know work out to be the right ratios and stuff. Anyways, I'm going to pull out those waffles and make some food. I'm going to do 3 waffles. 2 of them are going to be a sandwich with some ham, a fried egg, and some cream cheese. And then the other one I am going to spread with a tablespoon of butter. Here is how my meal turned out. It looks really tasty, and I am going to dig in. So I still had this birthday cake keto chow ice cream made with lots of butter that I intended to use for my fat fast yesterday. I had it left over, so I am going to whiz it up. I could eat the entire thing and I could get real close on my macros, but I don't know if I could actually eat all of it. And I think Renee wanted some, so I might do part of it. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. So Renee did want some, so I gave her a serving that would be a quarter of the keto chow. And so what's left in here should be a half of a keto chow plus 2 ounces of butter. And to make my macros work just right and get up to that 100 grams of protein, I am adding 3 slices of deli ham. And that's going to be my last meal of the day. Here is how my calories and macros ended up for the day. I was able to hit my goal. I got 99.9 grams of protein, so I'm saying I hit my goal. Okay, so I got 2,394 calories total, which is higher than normally for me for every day. Occasionally they will be that high, but they're usually closer to the 2,000 mark if I'm just eating normally. So definitely a higher calorie amount than I'm used to. I got 99.9 grams of protein. That was 16.6% of my calories. I got 215.8 grams of fat. That was 80.4% of my calories. So hit my goal of getting at least 80% fat. Then I got 18.1 total carbs or 13.6 net carbs. And that was 3% of my calories for the day. Typically on a regular eating day where I'm not counting or counting after the fact, I will end up with close to a 1-to-1 protein to fat grams. And you can see on this day, I got more than a 2-to-1 fat to protein grams. So definitely way higher fat than I'm used to and a little bit lower protein than I'm used to, but still happy with getting in that full 100 grams of protein. And now here is my ketone graph for the day. I did not see any very big jumps. I got all the way to 0.9 there in the evening. You can see that little hump towards the end of the graph. And that is as high as I got for the day. And it did come back down after that and stick right there around that 0.4, 0.5 mark. That's what I kind of averaged for the entire day. 0.4, 0.5, 0.6 with that one little hump at the end of the day, which I'm not sure what that was from. It was between my last 2 meals of the day. So it could have just been an anomaly, or maybe it had to do with that third meal that I ate. Not really sure. I did notice on both the sardine fast and the egg fast that my ketones seemed to go up on the second day more and then even more on the third day. So we'll see if that kind of a pattern holds true for this higher calorie 80-20 plan as well. I don't have any blood sugar data to share right now since I'm between CGMs. So I'm going to leave this video here. I will be back again tomorrow with day 2 of this 80-20 challenge. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you again in the next one.